All right, good morning all. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. Here we go. Little late start today because the daily paycheck ran long. I had a couple of really good rolls this morning, and it just took us a long time to resolve the last one. So it took me a while to 7 out. So that's why we're here late. Sorry about that. We're gonna get our YOLO in today. I think next week we're gonna restart the YOLO again because Jen wants to play along. We're gonna do a little YOLO versus YOLO thing. And we'll start that, Jen, next week. And actually, if you want to all come in with me and do it, let's do it. I was thinking about this, Jen, overnight, and let me actually go to the table. I'll do my morning, my YOLO right now. I'll give you my idea here as we do it. Let me turn that stats page off. Let's get our $64 across out. Let me switch out the bankrolls here, and let's do it. Let's get a one shot in for the morning here. I'll start up this. I just want to get kind of used to the betting here, and then we'll get it next week. I'm going to go just across. I'm just going to do a straight up. My YOLO is going to be an across bet. I'll sprinkle in other stuff when I get odd numbers, but we're really just going to play across. Jen's going to do some different stuff, and I think you all can too. And I'll explain the rules to you here in a minute. Let's go. Let's get a roll. Can I get something other than a 7 today? Hey, we got a 6, 2, 8. Look at that. We made money. I can't believe we made money. 14 bucks. Awesome sauce. Okay. Finally, it's been 3 days in a row that we've gotten whacked on the 3 days in a row. 3 YOLO sessions in a row were 7s. So we're down like two something in our rack. But there we go. We got a nice little win today. Maybe that'll be the start of something huge. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back to the regular scenes here, and we'll get rolling. Let's go back to me. Good morning. Good morning. We need some light on the subject, I think. There we go. Yeah, sorry I'm late. Again, we had a nice roll. We had actually this morning on the paycheck, I started out with a 12 roller, and then we had like a 21, and then we had a PSO, and then we had a 14 of 14 and another 22 roller at the end. Great rolling today. We actually hit the tall once. Awful day. It was an awful day for the Horseman. The Horseman did not work out for us today. And the reason why it didn't work out so well, honestly, was the shooter. Right? Normally the Horseman's great for the short rolls. It's designed to get you out of the shitty rolls. Today there was none. There was one roll where I hit the 7 quick. Every other shooter knocked off at least 1 point. So every other time we were out there, we had a don't pass with odds, got knocked off. Just not our day in terms of that. Now, and again, the way I play the Horseman is once I get knocked off that don't by a shooter, I don't go back out again. So I could have next point go back out with another don't pass, but I budget myself 1 don't pass and 3 come bets per shooter. That's all that they get from me. In our case, when we lost on those don't passes, we lost them with massive odds. And that's what cost us. We lost 750 today. And I was joking around with Jen, of course, her fault that I lost. Here's the thing. And Biff Helms, I think, is the person who asked this out there. And I want to make sure I cover this topic. It's very important to cover this. Progressive odds on the 6, 8, 9, 5, 4, and 10. On the don't pass, I think progressive odds make the most sense everywhere, frankly, because if I'm on a come bet, and let's say I'm predisposed to bet, whatever, 1x odds. If I'm on the 4 or 10, the likelihood of those bets paying is pretty low. Max oddsing the 4 and 10, yeah, when they hit, it's a nice little home run for you, but they hit infrequently enough that most of the time those bets die. Those odds will die. The 6 and 8 hit frequently enough that they deserve max odds to me because they're going to pay more often. When they lose, they'll lose more, but they lose less often than the other ones. And that's why I like the pyramid progressive odds on the come bets. On the don't pass, it's the same thing. The likelihood of you winning any don't pass bet is greater than not, right? On the 6 or 8, you're a 54% favorite to win. Putting odds on that makes you the best on the that's still the best setup there. It's the best bet on the table is that 6 or 8 don't pass with odds. It's still your best bet. However, the likelihood of losing that is greater than losing when you're on the 4 or 10, right? I like bigger odds on the outside numbers than I do on the inside numbers. And when I'm chasing like I was, we were down about $1,200, I think at the time, right around there. And we lost $400 or $500 we actually lost on the $900 today. We had 2 straight shooters knocked us off that 8 for the tune of 960 with 420 and 540 odds. I think the discretion being the better part of valor, don't fight the 6 or 8 if you don't have to, and we don't have to. You have a nice $100 flat bet out there. $100 against the 8 or the 6 is a lot of money, right? You're still the favorite. That's still, the flat bet is still the best payment. Don't forget, the flat bet's still the best payment. I think we should have stayed flat on the 6 or 8. We would have made paycheck today had we done that. We did miss out on one payment on the 6. When I didn't put odds on it, I think we should have stayed with that system. That's what we should have done today. I was joking with them because they're like, get your odds off, get your odds off. I'm like, no, once we're committed, you're committed. It's still the best bet out there, but I think over time, not oddsing up the 6 or 8 on the adult side is the better move. And that's why it showed itself today, the reason why. Other days, I'm sure I'd PSO and it would make a difference, but that's my thing. That's how I'm doing it from now on. And I think I can show you some win craps trials that'll bear that out over time. Total win-loss rate, the progressive odds and the don't seems to be the best way to do that. So, oh, and don't worry about it. Nemo, trust me, don't even worry about it. I'm just having fun out there. I'm just having fun out there. Again, the paycheck show is fun. Like, I'm trying to be as rhythm or as mechanical as I can with it. There are times to kind of bob and weave, move around. When I say it's your fault I lost, I'm 100% kidding. I make my own decisions out there. I like to have fun with you in chat. So yeah, so there it is. So, and this, you're the one, Michael. Well, again, let me go to the table. Let me just show you. I was going to be at the table today anyway. Let's do this because I think this is important for all of us to really grok the odds here, okay, and understand why. Never should you move a don't pass off. Like once you're here, let's just roll a number. Actually, it was on the 8, or let's make it an 8. 628's the number, right? You're here. You buck the odds, right? This bet, and we all know this, right? You're a 2-to-1 dog when the puck's off, right? You got 3 ways to win this thing on the 2 and the 3, and you got 8 ways to lose this thing. You can lose it on the 6 ways to roll a 6, the 2 ways to roll the 11. You're worse than a 2-to-1 dog down here. If you get it through, it's a miracle. Once you get it through, you have the hammer. You got the hammer, right? Against the 6 or 8, you're a 6-to-5 favorite. And what does that look like? I do this a lot, but I want to make sure that we cover it, right? You're 6 ways to win, right? You got 5 ways to lose against the 8. That's the odds. That's the actual ways to win and lose. The way that you do the math on this to figure this out, by the way, is all the other outcomes don't matter. Once the puck's on the 8, nothing else, none of these bets matter. The horn doesn't matter. It's just the 8 and the 7. There's 11 possible outcomes for you. Okay, 5 of the outcomes are bad. 6 of them are good. When you run the math and you say, well, what is 11 divided by 6? Or 11 divided by 5? The answer is going to be, for you here, 54.5%. That's your chance of winning, right? 54% chance of winning that bet is good. It's not great, but it's good. If you take the 4 or 10 as an example, right? Here's your odds here. Now you have 3 out of 9 chances to win. That's why you're at 66% favorite against the 4 or 10. That's a better deal. If I gave you a quarter and I said you have a 54% chance to flip ahead, it's an unfair quarter. 54% of the time you're going to roll ahead. Would you bet 1-to-1, or would you bet $100 plus an extra $500 on that small chance of getting the head, right? This is a great bet. I'll take a 1-to-1 payment when I have a 5% edge or 5% advantage, but 1-to-1 plus an extra whatever the odds would be on that 5% advantage isn't worth it. Out here, where I say to you, I'm going to flip a coin, and 66% of the time it's going to be a head. Would you bet the head? That's when you put the odds up there. When you have the juice, you put the odds up. Here, against 6 or 8, there's not enough juice to warrant huge odds, but you are still advantaged. That bet is still better every day of the week than this bet. The 120 on the 8 or the 90 on the 8 is disadvantaged by 45 to 55. You have a 5% chance to lose this bet versus win that bet. So this is always a worse bet than that is. Moving it to the pass line, makes that the shittiest bet in the house. If anything, you're going to do this. I would take this down and place the 8. I would never go to the pass line with it, right? Unless you're going to go $25 pass and $90 in odds. Even then, you're giving away your hammer by moving it from here to here or from here to here. You're losing your hammer. But in this situation, the flat bet is an okay hammer. This bet here, all those odds, becomes a ball peen hammer. This becomes the tiniest little hammer you can get. And I think that little bit of a spread doesn't warrant all that money. That money's warranted here. It's not warranted here, just from a probability standpoint. Now, again, over billions of rolls, the odds are invisible anyway. It doesn't really matter. In the short roll, from the short vision with your bankroll in front of you, those odds matter big time. In our case today, when we're upside down, deciding to use odds as a way to chase the loss makes sense when you have a bigger hammer. And I think the 6 or 8, the hammer's too small. It is always the favorite. Take the favorite. And like I said, you have the favorite, right? $100 flat bet against the 6 or 8, you are the favorite already. But again, putting extra juice behind that much extra juice behind a little tiny win, a 5% edge or 5% advantage isn't enough for me to warrant an extra $500 back there, which is what it would have been today. We put 540 out there twice and got burned both times. It's not a big enough advantage to warrant that much. Maybe 1x for sure. That's what I'm saying, progressive odds, right? I could be convinced to go 100 flat, 120 in odds on the 6 or 8, 100 flat, 300 odds on the 5 and 9, 100 flat, 600 odds on the 4 and 10. I could be sold on that, right? But to go 100 and 500, no matter what the point is, that becomes a problem. And I think that ends up, today it costs us our paycheck today, unfortunately. And I think over the course of time, we can run this out and we can see the difference. I think it's a great conversation. I'm glad that it happened because it lets us talk about it. And again, today, interesting day. And it actually feeds the topic of the day, which is going to be come bets and place bets. Let's go through our regular stuff here, and then we'll jump to the table and talk more. Quick reminders: Friday night fights, Old Bay versus Nemo. Old Bay Craps, by the way, if you saw in Jeff's Discord, had a 47 roller, made everybody a ton of money at the table. I hope he cashed in on that one. That's pretty damn cool. So good for him. And I think the guys are over there in AC playing with Big AZ right now, which is cool. I'm working the U.S. of Craps, obviously the United States of Craps. We've got a couple states done. I'm waiting for Craig and Jeff to fight over what's going to be the Maryland version. Corey, you are assigned Illinois. Buckeye Slim wants me to run the Jungle Fever for Ohio. I need people, Jen, I need a California strategy from you. You gotta step up, people. Represent your state, right? Skill and Midmo Yo, Chiro, you guys got to represent Missouri or Missouri. How do you say it? Is it Missouri or Missouri? Tell me in chat how you say it right from you locals. But yeah, I want to get I want that a strategy that embodies the state. And Jen, how do you embody the state of California in craps? I mean, we can do card craps for sure, but how do you embody the vibe of the state of California? Is it because really California is like, give me all your money, and then please don't leave. So how do you make that? How do you make a crap strategy out of that without getting too political, right? Give me all your money and please don't leave. Oh, and by the way, if you do leave California, we still are gonna tap your paycheck for the next 3. Is that true? Is that true? I think when you leave California, you still have to pay state income tax for like 3 years or some bullshit like that. How did they get away with that? How does California get away with that crap? That's unbelievable. The California strategy is 640 inside and walk away. That's what it's 640 inside, and every bet pays less than 1-to-1, right? Because you're gonna have to give it all to pay for all the migrants and everything else, right? It's something like that, Jen. It's something like that. It's 6,400 inside, and if you get paid, it pays like 64. That's what we'll do. California strategy, $6,400 across, right? But every bet pays like it was 640 across. You get paid 140 instead of 1,400 on the numbers, because all that great sales tax and income tax you guys pay. Yeah, I'm on you guys. Right? That's the California strategy. 6,400 across, and I get paid $140 on the wins. That's the California crap strategy right there. Right? I'll get paid 1,400, but I'm going to give back I'm going to give back $1,200 every time. $1,200 in tokes. That is 100% distract. I'm totally doing that. That's funny. I don't. I just talked myself into it. All right, guys. I will see you out here. I will see you out here in September. Please, if you want to come, drop me an email. I'm john@procraps.net. You can hit me up in Discord, of course, right? Ian is on vacation. When he gets back, we're going to go to the casinos and get our rooms figured out, get room plans and all that kind of stuff. We're looking at a couple of casinos here, Snoqualmie being one of them, which is beautiful, and our local, the Lip, up north, which is another nice, really nice casino, Vegas-style casino. So let me know. If you want to come, I will start making plans. And like I said, we're going to have some fun times at the casinos around Seattle, at my house, and all that kind of stuff. Craps for the Cure is going to be Veterans Day weekend in Vegas at Casino Quest, raising money for the vets for PTSD, and there's that. So what else is happening here? Hard hat voting. Is that today? I think it's today. Give me a second. You know what? I actually didn't realize it was the end of the month. Give me a sec. I got to go here. We didn't do this. How many people are live? We have 32 people watching. I think I pissed everybody off yesterday or over the weekend. So youtube.com. For whatever reason, my rant in the Discord, which I fully acknowledge, my best hour or 6 hours, seems to have had an impact on the show where people don't want to come back. So I have to live with that, I guess, right? But for those of you who are here, we are doing hard hat voting right now. And let me get to the show here. Give me a second. You might get some echo here for 1 second while I do this. I got to make sure it pause really quick when it starts. Come on, you. Come on. Oh my God, here we go. Come on. Now there's the echo. Let's go to the chat. Let me do a poll. Start a poll, and I can only do this. So the hard hat award. We're gonna go with Joe from CMJ, who's not here, he's sleeping. We're gonna go with Waylon. We're gonna go with Ed Robinson, rather. Ed Robinson got votes yesterday over David, but Jeremy is still, Jeremy from Color Up is in there too. There's my poll. Votes cast during the show today count 3 times. I'll put the same poll up after the show on the main website, and those votes will count 1 time, and we'll see who wins it. It came up yesterday from Duracell. It'd be kind of cool if Jeremy won it, and we gave him the hard hat live at DiceCon. That'd be kind of a neat thing. Have him sign it right there in front of us on camera and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's your hard hat. I forgot about that. Let's get those votes going. Vote right now. If you're in chat, vote right now on the hard hat. Figure out who's going to win this thing. What's next? What is next for us? Let's talk come and place bets. Let's talk come and place bets. I'm going to switch my view here to this. We're going to go to here and put the light on. And I want to talk about some of the options surrounding come bets and place bets. And I don't want to say dispel some of the rumors, but let's dispel some of the rumors. Okay, let's talk about the reality of these things. And here's one of them. The come bet has to hit twice. How true is that statement? And I want in chat, have you ever used this argument on anybody? Have you ever said to somebody, yeah, but a come bet's got to hit twice? Who's ever said that? And don't lie. Whoever said the come bet has to hit twice to win? I've said it. I'll own up to it. I've said it. Does it have 9/13 be a full day? Okay, you're talking about other things. We'll come back to that. Come bets have to hit twice. Does a come bet have to hit twice to win? Interesting question, because the truth of the matter is a number has to roll twice for a come bet to win. The come bet itself does not have to win twice, right? And here's what I mean by that. When you're in the come, let's bring this rack up. We'll put $500 in the rack. And I'm not going to really roll that much today. I just want to kind of talk through this. But think about this. Right now, the come bet has to decide what its point is going to be, right? The dice are going to roll to a 9. The come bet, its personal point is 9. The way that I like to view come bets, by the way, is this. When you're playing actual craps, The big puck tells you what the point is, right? Shooter rolls a number like the 10. They have to roll the 10 again to win the pass line bet. On the come, think of the come like this. Think of the come bet as having its own little button that goes with it. In this case, it's off, right? In the off position, the come bet with its own personal little button wins on the 7 or 11. That's a big time advantage. We'll talk about that in a minute. Big advantage, right? When I roll the 9, that come bet moves to the 9 and it's on. It's got, like I said, it's got its own puck. These things have their own, you can't see it, but its own invisible little puck. And now it's on. Now the 9 has to repeat. At this point in time, though, like a pass line bet, the come bet doesn't know what number it's going to go to, right? It doesn't know where it's going to go. It can be anywhere, right? It happens to land here. Now, this come bet has to see the 9 roll one time for it to win, right? So the verbiage that we use is important. Words matter, okay? The come bet does not have to, or the 9 doesn't have to roll or repeat itself for that bet to win. That bet has to see 1-9 for it to win, okay? It had to get a 9 to roll to get it here, but it doesn't matter. Here, it wanted a 7 or an 11. Here, once it's here, it needs 1 roll for it to win. It needs the 9 to roll 1 time. That's an important distinction to make. And when you're talking to people and arguing, with which we do, that's an important note, okay? It only needs to roll once to win, right? It happens to be the second roll that happened on that same number is when it gets paid, okay? So the come bet does not have to hit twice. The number doesn't have to roll twice for that come bet to win. It has to roll once for the come bet to win. It takes 2 rolls of the same number for that thing to resolve itself and get totally paid. And that's the right way to word that, I think, for you all to remember. So I want to make sure that that's clear. And I'm going to change something here. I feel like the color here is not good on this view. I'm going to get that a little bit more. A little more. I want those greens to pop a little bit more. Oh God, that's horrible. There we go. I think it's visible. Okay, next point on come bets and place bets. Again, this is not purely a come betting thing. Come on, there we go. Where's the thing? How big can the 1 roll be? Okay, I said this before. The come bet, and I'll use the same example we had before. When you're off, you have a 1 roll mini game going on, right? And we know in here, you can lose to the 1 way to roll the 2, the 1 way to roll the 12, and the 2 ways to roll the 3, right? That's going to be your losers in here. There's the 4 ways to lose, but you have all these ways to win. You can win on the 2 ways to roll an 11 and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to roll the 6, right? That's an 8 to 4 advantage. It's 2 to 1. If you reduce the fraction, right? There's your possibilities, right? You're 2 to 1. Okay. What does that mean in terms of win the probabilities? It's 2 to 1. Every 3 results. Now, not counting the box numbers, right? Every 3 outcomes that change money, right? That mean you win or you lose. Every 3 of those, you win 2 of them. It's not a 2 to 1 advantage. It's a 2 to 1 roll advantage, right? But it's a 66% win chance on that bet. It's a huge advantage in here. It's more than 2 to 1. If you think about it in terms of win probability of that bet, of the times you lose it versus the times you win it. Look at that advantage. That's enormous, right? And on 1 roll, again, 8 ways to win, eight combinations of these dice win on that roll. It's enormous. I've done the comparison, right? Because I've heard people say this. Well, if you just place the 9 for a quarter, it pays $35, right? Why not, which is more than if a come bet traveled to the 9 and got paid just a quarter. You're making more money on the place bets, they say. Cool. So if you do a strategy where one person does a come bet and comes to the 9, and the other person does a place 9 after the puck's on, who do you think wins more? No odds. Who do you think wins more money? And I'm asking a question I know the answer to, but in chat, which of these players, even on a flat bet 9, makes more money? And I know, don't answer what you think I'm going to say, but who makes more money over time? If I just wait, let the person roll a 9, and I place the 9, or I let the come bet go to the 9. Who makes more money in that case? Okay, again, make the place bet act like a come bet. Come out there with a quarter, right, to win your 35 when it rolls the second time, or win a quarter when it rolls the second time. Who makes more money? And I'll tell you, the answer is not even fucking close. Sorry for the swearing. It's not even close. The come better destroys the place better in this case. If you wait for the point or wait for a number and then place it versus act like a come bet but use a place bet versus let the come bet travel, the payment here is way different. This guy makes more in the payment. This one roll advantage in here is so enormous you can't believe it. Like, and I said, when I run it in simulations, it's not even a little bit close who wins this battle. This one roll here, 8 ways to win that thing, that happens so often, so many more times than that $10 difference happens, that this player just destroys the other one. Don't discount the one roll advantage of the come bet. Do not discount it. It's actually way bigger than you can imagine, okay? The next point I want to make on come and place bets is this. Contract versus control. Another argument against come bets is what? What's the number one argument against come bets? Somebody put it in there right now. And again, James, what I'm saying here is if you treated a place bet like a come bet, let the number roll and then put the place bet up there because you think it pays more, that's the example I'm giving. Tell me the answer to this question. Contract versus control, right? Who's made the argument against come bets that it's a contract bet? It's a contract bet. What is that? And I want to go back to skill here, right? Once to get there, twice to get paid. It's once to get there, once to get paid. Again, the bet itself doesn't know that a 9 already rolled, right? The bet itself is only looking forward. It needs one. It only needs 1 9 to win. Okay, that's an important. It's a distinction with a difference I think we have to get to. But contract bets can't come down or change. Great point, right? Skill says contract bets can't come down. Buckeye Slim claps back and says, that's why I hate them. Okay, I'm going to come at you with something very important. And I know Skill's answer, but everybody else be honest with me. Don't bullshit me on this answer. Do not bullshit me on this answer. You place the 9. You place the inside numbers. 110 inside, okay? These are non-contract bets. You can pull them down whenever you want to, right? I'm coming through the come bet, and it goes to the, well, in this case, it goes to the 9, okay? I may even put odds on it, okay? I can't pull that down. I can pull the odds down, but I can't pull the flat bet down. We'll leave that flat bet sitting there so you can see it, okay? You get paid that 35 bucks. How many of you do this? How many of you do that? And don't lie to me. How many of you pull that bet down? How many of you even do this and go to 10 bucks? Don't lie to me. And I mean this with every ounce of my being because I've had this conversation so many times and I am the worst offender. I put a bet out here. There are times where I will regress. I'll take my 35 bucks and go 44 inside. Sure. There are times when I do that. Do you ever do this and pull that bet down? Everybody says this is a shitty bet because you can't take it down. Who the hell ever takes a bet down? Nobody does. Maybe 1% of you take a bet down after it hits. The Storm does it. The Wedge does it. The Dallas Drawdown gets you lower. Nobody pulls the bets down. Come on. Every one of you let your bets die up here. And don't lie to me and say that you don't. I'm not meaning to sound like I'm angry, but this argument pisses me off because nobody does it. Nobody pulls those bets down, okay? And Kevin's making my exact next point. My exact next point is this. Thank you, Kevin, for being alive and giving me the perfect segue because this is what happens. When the comeback gets paid, it forces you down. It's built-in money management. You got to come here and make a decision. You can't just leave it out there to die. You got to make a call. Okay, I'm going back out. That's your decision. And now you've got the advantage again, right? This bet goes from awesome to shitty to awesome. Or awesome to, oh, thank God I made it, and back to my rack, right? The contract nature sucks, but none of you take advantage of this. Nobody out there takes advantage of those bets. Like 1% of you does this. Everybody, every craps player on the planet lets their bets die up here, right? That's why we call it the elephant graveyard, because they just go to die. And that's the way most people play this thing. The come bet, I think an advantage of it is that it comes down. It goes up and it comes down. You had no choice. They give it back to you. You have to make a decision to put it back in play again, right? That's limiting in terms of pressing and upward mobility, but it's built-in money management. I think that's really good. Like, I think that's actually a really good thing about come bets. It's one of the things that it's a small used thing, a small used, like, I think, theory about them, which is a good thing. So it's contract. I know you all say, oh, it's a contract bet, but trust me, nobody pulls them down. Nobody pulls them down. A couple of Wayland strategies do. I know Jen's calling one out. A couple of things that I've taught you, pull the bets down. Nobody plays that way. Everybody out there puts their money at risk all the freaking time and leaves them to die. That's just the nature of craps. We leave our bets out there to die, okay? Now, here's the downside to come bets, pressability. And I want to really talk about this. This is the reason why I'm here today. Let's talk about pressability, because today out there in the garage, I rolled what? 6 or 7 nines on that one shooter, I think. I think I might have rolled 6 nines. We can do 6. Let's do it. I think I rolled 6, okay? Let's look at what 6 nines looks like. Like, let's really take a look at what 6 nines looks like. And I'm going to go here from we have $500 in the rack, okay? And let's just play it like we got 6 nines, okay? Player 1 places the 9 for $25. And actually, we'll just do $100 in the rack and make it easier. That's all I need. $100 in the rack. Oh my God, I dropped them all. Are you kidding me? Wow. Wow, fumble fingers, Johnny. Okay, 75 left, 25 out. Let's get 6 lammers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits on the 9. Let's have a miracle, okay? Let's play the 9 all the ways we can play it, right? And you're gonna see the advantage here to the place better, because having the options up here is where it's at, okay? Let's do, for the base case, same bet. We can do 6 same bets, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins of $35. Okay, same bet 6 times. This player here, let's see what they actually won. 6 times 35, there's 2 more green chips. That person wins $100, $210. Let's put that aside. 210 for the same better. What if you're a half presser? Okay, I love the half press. Half press to me is super powerful, right? So let's say on hit number 1, you get paid $35, okay? And to ease into the half press, $35, we're gonna take that quarter, I'll pay myself in nickels, and let's just go up by $15. Make it look like 40, we'll put $20, and I'll color this up in a minute, right? On hit number 2, 40 pays $56, 55, $56, okay? About half of that is a quarter. So we'll go from 40 to $65, okay? We'll put this in a rack. Hit number 3, what does 65 pay? It pays $91, 70 for this, 21 for that. So $91, 75, $91. What's half of $91? It's about $40, right? We could say it's about $40. If I look at what's out here, honestly, I just make it $100. We'll make our 9, and even 100 will take $55 back. So a little less than half of the press, but we'll make our bet nice and square. That was on hit 3. Hit 4 at 100, it pays $140. Matter of fact, we're gonna do like this, 100, 25, 140, half of that is $70. Let's just call it even and go 175. We'll make it nice and square, so it's an easy payment for the dealers, okay? Rack all this up. Hit number 5 at 175. Well, that pays 140. That pays 105. 155, right? 155, which means about a $75 bump. So from 150 or 175 plus 75, we'll go to 250 on the 9. Rack it up, 250, like a $25 9 pays $350. Okay, now we're to the rack. And the 7 comes and we lose the 250 that goes away. So our net for this shooter, for this guy that half pressed the 9 6 times, what does he get? 300, 400, 550, 575. Oh, look, and even 600 bucks. There's another 100. So we'll get $300 in the greens and reds, $602. Not bad. That's not shabby at all. 602 for the half presser, right? That's pretty good. Let's do it again. Another guy, but he lost. He left 250 sitting out there, which is kind of a bummer. Let's do it again. Let's do another guy. Let's do Johnny's G Money Special. What does the G Money Special make on this deal, right? Well, the G Money Special is gonna have to start with a little more, right? Or a little less. We'll start him at 20 bucks, okay? Keep the risk factor the same. So he starts with 20. So he has $5 in his rack to start with, right? Hit number 1, 20 pays 28. He's gonna take that, drop $2, get $3 and change, and make it look like 50. Boom, okay? Hit number 2, 50 pays 70 bucks, okay? G Money, we go to the next G Money level, which is 40 bucks. You'll see how this thing kind of rolls through the levels here as we go, 40 bucks. The third hit, 40 pays 56. We drop $4. So I'm gonna drop a nickel, get a penny change, and it looks like 100. The fourth hit, the 100 pays 140, like so. We're gonna go to the next G Money level, which is $80. I'm gonna take 100 and get 4 greens for it and go to 80 with it. We'll put all this in the rack. Okay, hit number 5, 80 pays 112. We drop $8. Go to 200 with it. And 200 on the last hit pays 200, 75, 280, and we burn on the 7. How did this player do? Not quite as well, but decently. 1 black, 2 blacks, 3 blacks. There's 100, there's 100, and there's 10. So he makes 510. G Money Special from 20 bucks gets to 500 and actually 511. Which is kind of on par with the other guy. So same better, 210. Half presser, 602. G Money Special from 20 to 40 to 80, 510. That's actually not bad, right? That's actually from 20 bucks, that's pretty good. You start this thing at 40 bucks, it's insane. Because the last hit, we can do it again if you want to at the end at 40 bucks. That G Money at 40 on a 6-hit 9 is awesome. What does a come better do, right? The come better is in that weird world, right? Where they're gonna drop their quarter, right? And on roll 1, it goes to the 9. Now the come better has to put odds on it. So his initial risk is 55 bucks. Okay, let's remember that. So it pays. Hit number 2 of the 9, the second roll of the 9, that thing pays. So it gets 25 flat. It gets paid 45 for the odds, right? And it all comes back to the rack. All that comes back to the rack. How you want to play your next one? Maybe it's the same. Maybe you're this guy and you double up your come. Third hit goes now with 50 bucks on it and you drop 70 in odds. If you're going to play the come with a double up like this, right? You go to 70 or 60. I guess you go 60, not 70. 60 bucks on the odds up there. When it repeats, you get paid 50 flat. 60 pays 90. And again, like all come bets do, it all comes down. Okay, now you have a choice to go 75 on that 5th hit. And again, we'll put 90 bucks in odds on it. 75, 90. Again, just going up by 1 level each time through. Right, 90 bucks in odds on the last hit, you get paid 75 flat, and 90 pays 120 for the odds, and we come back. And how did the come better do? You had to work a little harder to get here, but how does he do? Again, that rhythm is interesting. Don't forget you had the 1 roll advantage in here. There's a black, there's 100, there's 200, 50, There's $100 there. So these 1, 2, 300. So the come better makes 410, a little bit less, right? But not, well, plus the 25, I guess, right? And he started out with 55 at his starting point, right? So put that aside, his net is 405. All the guys colored up. They all colored up. The come better advantage was in here, and again, we went from 25 to 50 to 75, 7 action every single time. Every time you're in the come, you have that bigger bet, 7 action. The rhythm of that isn't terrible, right? The reward is different based on where you started and how you decided to press. The half presser, I'm telling you, wins almost every battle. Almost every battle the half presser wins. It's pretty, as far as pressing goes, probably the most stout strategy out there. Even the same better did okay. That's the come bet rhythm versus the place bet. The place better has way more flexibility in terms of how they want to press their bets. All the patterns you can think of, the place better's got an inherent advantage because they can do whatever they want to. The come better is kind of stuck with, the amount of odds they want to put out there, and their pressing comes right out of their rack. It's never just kind of give me a little bit less. It's just the rhythm is different for a come better. So there it is. There's a look at, like, I think 3 big advantages to the come, but the biggest advantage to the place better is that flexibility they have with their bets, how they want to press them up and move them around. That, I think, is a big, big, big deal. There it is. Let's actually, for fun, just for funsies, let's do this. I'm going to do the same 6 bets. Let's leave this here. This was the 602 that the G Money special got from starting at $20. I want you to see the G Money special when we started at $40, which is my preferred level to start at. Let's start it at 40 this time. Okay. Let's look at what a decent roll, the 9 hitting 6 times like I just did with this pattern, right? Because here, 40, you're going to drop a nickel. I'll pretend it was in my rack. We drop a nickel. We get a penny change. We're dropping $4. It goes to $100 on the first hit. First hit, right to 100. The second hit, again, it's 140. I'll pay it like this, $140. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take that down to 80. So level 2 is an $80 bet. What's in the rack? Already in the rack, we got $100 and some, right? The third hit, 80. We drop $12. I hate to make, I hate making change. All right, we'll do it anyway. 25. There's a bunch of nickels and pennies. We're going to drop $12 and take it to 200 because 80 pays 112, right? So 112 plus 80 plus 8 makes $200. It goes to $200. On that fourth hit, 200 pays 275, 280. Okay, our next level from 80 goes to 160. So 100, 25, 150, 160 is the next bet. So the fifth roll is going to, let me put this in the racket. The fifth roll is going to come. Okay, now we're going to drop $12. Notice the pattern, 4, 8, 12. We drop $12 and it goes to 300. Boom. And 300 is going to pay 420. Now we are going to lose the 3 when the 7 comes. We're going to leave $300 sitting out there, but look at the difference in payment. Right? You start the thing at $40. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, 6, 7, 800, 50, 875. That ain't bad. Right? The G Money special from 40 is pretty swift. Again, you can't pull that off with come bets starting at a quarter. You just can't do it. Right? We did. We power pressed. We pressed in here. We pressed up our odds. You can't match that kind of payout when you have control of your bets. I think that's one of the best ways to do the 9. I like the 9 and 5 on that pattern. It does beat the half press. The half press does have the always be collecting mentality to it, where this one needs every other hit, you get the big pay. So anyway, I think come bets and place bets, there's a lot of WTF moments here, right? A lot of people argue about the viability of both of them. They both have strengths. I think the come bet's got a lot of strength here more strength here than you realize. It's got a lot of strength in here when you're doing a power press. Again, you still made $400 on that thing, right? When you're power pressing your odds, I think that's an important thing in the come bet too. Place bets give you better options. Don't buy into the bullshit of come bets have to hit twice. Don't buy into the bullshit that says contract bets are terrible, because none of you have the balls to pull a bet down. So there it is. There it is, guys. I am good. I think I'm done. Let's go here and here. Let me turn the light off. And let's go through it. I know I was late starting, so we're a little late here. What kind of questions do we have? Do we have any questions for me that I haven't already addressed? Let's see. Wayland's Way Crap says, why do you think the come box and the pass line? Yeah, I know. They aren't sucker bets, though. I'm telling you, you do come bets versus place bets, especially if you same bet them. If you same bet them, the come bets destroy the place bets. It just is what it is. Yeah, the marketing piece of it, the biggest things on the table is where they want your money, the feel, the come. But I'm telling you, the come bet makes money. It doesn't make as much money as the box bets on a long roll, as you just saw. But it is a lower house edge bet. If you look at over time, what the casino wants is low volatility, believe it or not. And I think this is an important point to make. The casino wants low volatility. They know that if everybody bets the come or everybody bets the pass line, what's the house edge on that? House edge has 1.41 or whatever, 1.41. They know they're making 1.4% of every dollar spent, right? And as a business, you can look at that and say, well, given the fact we're going to make 1.4% of every single bet that's out there, we can afford to put in this restaurant and make those lights or whatever it's going to be. When you're all over the place in the box, they can't depend on that because the box bets are unreliable. The hop bets are unreliable. That's why the house edge on those things is so much higher, because they're so unreliable. They can win a lot, they can lose a lot, and they aren't as rhythmic as the come and place bets are. The lower percentage of win for you is also lower percentage of win for them, but they like that smooth edged bottom line to plan budget wise. I think that's why they do it. And the other bets are all over the place, and it's hard to account for that. It's hard to account for random income where those bets are solid. And I think that's the reason why they want you to place those things, because to them, that just feeds the beast in a predictable way from an accounting standpoint. That's the reason why. I don't buy into the logic, or I don't buy into the myth that just because it's huge, it's bad for you. Sometimes big things are bad for you, big 6 and 8, but not all the time. Not all the time. That one, I think that one it's more of a play on consistency is what they're looking for. So that's why I think it's there. Let's look at the PCs. Any PCs that are interesting here? You're saying 9/13 would be a full day. Is 9/13 the Friday? Is that what that is, Jen? I have to look at my calendar. Let's see my calendar. I think it's a Friday, right? Thursday, September 13th is Wednesday. I'm thinking we're going 15th to the 17th is my plan. So the 13th wasn't part of it, but let's talk through that. I was thinking the weekend because obviously travel and kids go back to school and that kind of thing. So the 13th wasn't there, but welcome to come out and hang for sure. Yes, come out has to survive once, not twice. I mean, yeah, it's got to survive its time in the come, but it's got to survive the 2 and the 3 and the 12. It's got to survive 4 combinations. You got a 2-to-1 hammer there. I wouldn't call that survival. I would call that an attack. Like that attack mode in the come it's like I said, it's what makes the come win. When I believe me, I was crowing for years the same shit. Got to win twice. It's the place bets pay more, right? I was right. You get to a 9, a 1-to-1's bull crap payment, $25 a night pays more. I'm like, yeah, I'm singing the praises, right? Don't come bet, place bet. Then I went and ran it out, and I went, wait a minute. Against my rolls, against random, against all these roll sets, a flat come and a flat pass line or a flat place bet place at the same time, the come bet wins, and it's not even close. That one roll advantage is huge. I wouldn't call it survival. I'd call that time in the come box attack time, and I think it's actually it's more valuable than you think it is. And that's again, Horseman's made because the come is so strong when it's there. I think it's actually it's run it yourself. Run it on your trials. You'll be surprised at the results of it. And I think it's important to see it. And again, I was wrong for years, and I'm telling you, this is the way that it works out. So I have no issue with that. Turning place bets into come bets with odds, great. Right? $12, 6 or 8, you win the $14, go into the come with 10. It goes, you take your $14, you make it as odds, or $10 as odds, you're pocketing money. Great. That's a great cycle to start with. Sometimes I wonder if come bets becoming place bets is more powerful. I think the rhythm of that depends on the shooter. But yeah, I like the conversion process a whole lot. The reason why actually is this. Let me show you. Let me go back to our table. There's a really strong reason for why. Let me turn the light back on so you can see. Why? The question is, why do I dislike the pass line but like the come? And I'm going to show you exactly why. There's a really good reason for it. I don't like having more. I think when you're on these dice deciding bets, like the come or the pass line or the don't pass, right? If it's the old 3-point molly, right? Pass line and 2 come bets is the old 3-point molly, right? The 3-point dolly, don't pass and 2 don't comes, right? 3 bets in action is about the most you want when the dice are making the call. I think 3 is the magic number, okay? From the don't pass, there's this problem out here where you get beat multiple times, right? Up in here, it's hard to get 3 of these set, is what you find, right? The shooters end their roll before you get the 3rd number set. Most of the time, you die in here on the DC when you're trying for 3. That's why I like 1, 2, 3, 7 on the don't side. That's the right 3 to make to me. On the come side, I'd like to have this. I would rather, and today's a good example, have the come 9, the come 8, the come 5, with my odds on them. To me, and we did this today, right? We had this exact situation. I had a point of 10. I had all these things set, and what were we doing? The 8 hits. Okay, we're getting our $30 on the or $36 on the 8, right? It comes down. We reset it. We rack our money. It goes to the 6 this time. We put $45 up on the 6, and we keep recycling, right? I like to recycle 3 come bets. 3 come bets. Always have 2 working. This gets paid. We come back in again. I like to have 3 bets rolling on a good shooter, right? That rhythm of having 3 things in play is better to me than having only 2 things at play and stuck down here, which happened to us today. We didn't have the pass line. Remember that one time where I said, well, we had 2 come bets in action and we had allotted our budget for the shooter. I'm not going to come back out for a 3rd come bet. And we had, I think at that time, we had the 4. I think we had the 4 and the 10. And I'm like, well, that's all I got. I'm not going to go for a 3rd come bet until one of these 2 resolves. Well, now I'm stuck with 2 of the worst bets that I could have, and I got to wait for them to resolve. Even if the point was 8 and I was on the pass line, I'm still stuck with 2 that I can't. And that shooter, remember, is hitting all this stuff in here. We hit like 6 or 7 shots on numbers we weren't on because I only had 2 come bets going. I think 2 come bets is a liability. 3 come bets is perfect. 3 come bets working is perfect. 2 is a liability, even if one of them is the pass line bet. You don't have the ability to kind of keep that roll going when the shooter's doing what they do. And that happens more often than not, where you're on the pass line and they hit everything else and never hit the point. That happened to us a couple times today. One time we had 3 numbers and we were rolling them great. One time we had 2 numbers and they burned while everything else rolled. That's the reason why. I don't hate the pass line. I like the rhythm of having 3 come bets that are working. That's why the come ladder, the same thing. I wait for a point, then I go come ladder because I want 3 bets to kind of keep themselves moving. And I like the mobility of 3 bets versus 2. That's the entire reason why. It isn't that I have a bad relationship with the pass line. To me, it's a financial decision, and I like to have the motion of 3 bets. That's the whole thing. And I think on the don't side, it's the opposite. The don't side, I want only 2 bets behind 1 bet on the don't pass. It's hard to get 3 don't come bet set. 2 is about where you want to be. That's the reason why. Okay, that is the reason why. And we'll talk later let's talk next week about the Seattle meetup time-wise. If you come in on the 12th, which I think is Tuesday. Now I'll pull the calendar back up again. Come on out. We're not gonna have anything lined up at the casinos until the weekend. And the 12th, the Tuesday is my birthday. So you want to come out here and buy me a cake and get drunk with me, come to the house. Come on out for the 12th. But yeah, I think the official meetup will be over the weekend, just to help folks with travel. So I think that's it. No more questions I don't see. Anything else? No PCs, no questions. I think we've covered all the topics I wanted to talk about today. And hope I answered your questions well. And I hope that the morning rollout actually gave us some good talking points today, right? The 9 roll all those times, which is great. It gave us a chance to talk about the size of odds on the 6 or 8 on the don't. So it worked out well. We didn't make money out there, but we got good things to talk about today. I think that's that. If that can happen every day, that's actually really good for us in here. So, all right, I'm out, guys. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow's topic? I forget. Tomorrow we're doing another WTF. I'm trying to get like some of these, the idea of like not so much dispelling rumors, but talking about like controversial topics. So tomorrow topic is going to be don't pass, don't come, and odds, and all the different ways to play that. So I'm going to get some wind craps up tomorrow, and I'll show you flat don't versus a ladderson kind of a don't versus a don't with single odds and a don't with max odds on all the numbers and a don't with progressive odds. I'll run them all at the same time, and we'll see what does a don't look like with flat, with a ladder, with a positive ladder, with single odds, max odds, and progressive odds. And I think it'll be interesting to see the results of that. How many times, how much they win, and how often they lose. So that's tomorrow's thing. We're going to kind of, again, dispel some of the rumors and go WTF on some of that stuff so we can kind of not end the conversation, but I want to have a point of grounding to talk further about the conversation. So there it is. That's tomorrow. And thanks for hanging out longer than normal today. 9:15, I know it's late, but I'm out. See y'all later. Thanks again. And God bless all you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.